Sourdough tortilla made in the bread machine. You can follow along the recipe on my blog. Detailed instructions with what to eat with it, how to make air fryer chips out of them, and more. The night before, I like to make the dough and put it in the bread machine. 2 cups of bread flour, all-purpose flour, ground flour, whatever you like. It's approximately 2 cups of flour or 250 grams of flour. Now, with the bread machine, you always add the liquids first at the very bottom. Why, I don't know. They always tell you to add the liquid first. So to this, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of filtered water. I'm going to stir the hooch down. See that liquid on top? That is what I call hooch. You need to stir it down before you start to measure it for your recipe. Sometimes this is thicker, sometimes it's thinner. I fed this maybe 2 days ago. I am not a stickler when to feed it and how long to feed it and time it. I wing this. I've been doing this for 3 decades. This is how I do it. If you would like to follow someone how they start their starter and feed it and keep it, there are a lot out there on the internet. This is how I do it. I fed it maybe 2 days ago and I didn't add any water. I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of this starter and I'm going to add it to the water. Tonight I'll add another 1/2 cup of flour, maybe a 1/4 cup of water, because in the morning I'm going to make sourdough waffles. That will go right with the water. Next we're going to add a 1/4 cup. This is homemade butter. You can add ghee, whatever kind of fat you like, but you need a 1/4 cup of some sort of fat. That goes in the very bottom. To this we're going to add our 2 cups of flour and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Put the container inside the bread machine, lock it, close the lid. On this machine, I hit the menu button. I hit number 9 for dough setting, start. Walk away, leave it. It will automatically shut off, and you have anywhere between 8 to 24 hours to take the dough out and make your tortillas. And good morning, we are back. This is exactly 12 hours later. Now I always work on a Silpat. This is what I use in my dehydrators. If you don't, you're really gonna have to flour a wooden board or a countertop really well. I'm gonna use just a little bit of flour. I'm going to deflate this. I make my dough a little wet, more than dry. But in my opinion, anytime I make any type of dough products, the Silpat is the way to go to use less flour. So we just need to make these into about 2-inch rounds. I'm going to place it in this clean bowl with a flour sack in it. Now you can cut them up into about 2 tablespoon pieces. You can use a scoop if you want to eyeball it. You might need just a little bit of flour so they don't stick. Just touched a little flour. You don't want them sticking when they're in the bowl. It doesn't matter if they're different sizes. Keep them covered while you're making each one. You don't want them to dry out. I've even let these set 24 hours before I started making them, and they came out fine. Now I got the bottom of the bowl full. I'm going to start keeping them covered, and as I'm adding more, you definitely want to keep them covered while you're making them. This is the time usually I'll start heating up my griddle, but the griddle is going to have to be placed here, so I can't have both on the counter at once. This is a cast iron pan from Martha Stewart. Sometimes I do not want the black cast iron, but I want a cast iron. I take a linen towel so the rack doesn't scratch the bottom. I put a little cooling rack in there, place a clean tea towel. This is where I'll stack the tortillas as they're coming off, and I'll put the cast iron lid on. All right, we are back. See when the water dances on your griddle? Perfect. Let's get started. As you noticed, I did not grease this. You do not need to grease this. This is my cast iron tortilla press. These are thin sheets that you can use for cookies. Cookie sheet pan. These can go up to 500 degrees. I took one sheet and cut it into 4 pieces. I lay one on the bottom, And here's our dough. We're gonna keep them covered, and we're only gonna do one at a time. They may be a little sticky, but these sheets work excellent. Center it. Give it a good push. Put that on just like that. Flip it over. I'm actually gonna get two going, but I wanna show one before I start doing a whole bunch. So this would peel right back off. And the reason I have four, so one is cooling. This is the one I haven't used yet. About 30 seconds, flip it over. Unlike hamburgers and French toast, this is one of the few times you can flip something over a few times while it's cooking. Beautiful, gorgeous. Now you don't have to poke it, you can. So you take it off, put it into your pan, and immediately put the lid on. So as you can see, you can really get actually 3 going at one time. If you did not use these are very wet, and the reason I like them wet, keeps them moist. You would need a lot of flour, and this would stick. Stop by the blog, you'll see what we add to it. Smoked chicken, our corn chow chow. There's so many things you can do with these sourdough tortillas, and they will last at least a week on the counter covered. I keep mine covered in this flour sack, then I put them in a linen bag and I pull it tight, and that's how I store mine. Once these are all done, they sit in here, wait 15 minutes, because right now they're a little tough and wonky. Let them bloom for 15 minutes and they will be beautiful. So let it rest 15 minutes before you eat them. They reheat wonderful. You can eat them cold. I always put them in a tea towel, wrap it up like a bandana or whatever, put it in the microwave for 10 seconds, heat up on the roll setting, and it's perfect. I will come back in 15 minutes. Now some of them are little, but this is the average size. These are the little ones that you can buy in the store, and then the last one is all I had left. It's actually been about 25 minutes. But this is what I'm talking about. Look how nice they are now. If you were to try to do this right off the grill, it would not be pliable. This is what I'm talking about when the magic happens. And they're still hot. And they just roll up really, really nice. Even the very last one we made. Beautiful. So that's what I'm talking about. Let it bloom 15, 20 minutes. Then when it's all done, you just put this on. Let them cool completely before you store them. You don't want to store them with a lot of moisture and wetness. Not that we ever have too many leftovers, but if we do, we make air-fried tortillas and we have them with fresh salsa. Recipe will be on the blog. Thank you for stopping by. If you like this type of content, please subscribe, hit the bell, and most important, please share and drop a comment below. Thank you and have a good day.